Welcome to Beginner's Guide for the C programming tutorial videos. Welcome back. In today's tutorial, we are going to write the C program to print this pattern. Before that, let us quickly go through this 5x5 matrix. So what you can see them here, this I represent the rows and J represent the column. In the first row, we are trying to print the stars in all the column. Second row, we are trying to print the stars in only 4 columns. In third row, we are trying to print 3 stars. Fourth row, we are trying to print only 2 stars. In fifth row, we are trying to print only 1 star. So what you can see them here, every time when the row value increases, the star value is been reduced. So how can you write the program for this one? Here we are going to print the stars, then this line is help us to take the control to the next line. Now we need to write the condition here. Let's say because we have got 5 rows starting from the first row going up to the 5th row, then we need to increment the row value every time, isn't it so? So this is a first condition. So when it comes to the second condition, this J represent the column. As you can see this matrix here, every time when the row value increases, the column is being reduced by 1, isn't it so? Because when it comes to the second row, the column is reduced by 1, which is nothing but the star that we are going to print them only in 4 columns instead of 5. When it comes to the I3, we are going to print only 3 star instead of 5. So here, how is the condition is supposed to be? J is equals to I. Why? Because every time when the I value increases, the stars that we are going to print them in the column is going to be decreased. So actually this column is depends on the value of the I, which is nothing but the stars that we are going to print them in the column. It depends on the value of the row. Then what is the next? J less than or equals to 5 J plus plus. So this is a condition which help us to print this pattern. So how it works? Initially I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, which is nothing but 1 less than or equal to 5. Is it true or false? Is true. If it is true, what is going to happen? It is going to execute the inner for loop. Now J is equals to I. What is the J value? Which is nothing but J value will be equals to the I value. So what is I value? I value is 1. Then what is the condition here? Less than or equals to 5. So what does it mean? 1 less than or equals to 5. Is it true or false? Is true. If it is true, what is going to happen? It is going to print the star. Where it is going to be printed? It is going to print the star in the intersection point of I is equal to 1 and J is equal to 1, which is nothing but it is going to print the star in the intersection of I is equal to 1 and J is equal to 1. So what is going to happen next? Again, after printing the first star, the J value will be incremented. Initially it was 1, then it will become 2. Then it is going to print the star in the intersection point of I is equal to 1 and J is equal to 2. Then this loop is going to be executed until the J value becomes 5, which is nothing but it is going to print the star starting from the first column going up to the 5th column. At some point when you increment the J value, it will become 6, meaning this loop is not going to be executed. The control will move out of the loop. We are going to print the stars in the next row. When you reach here, what is going to happen? We are going to increment the I value. Now I value will become 2. Then 2 less than or equals to 5. It is true or false? Is true. If it is true, what is going to happen? Again this for loop is going to be start from the beginning. J is equal to I, which is nothing but the J value will become 2. 2 less than or equals to 5. The condition is true. So it is going to print 1 star. Then the J value will become 3. Then it is going to print the second star. Then the J value will become 4. It is going to print the third star. Then the J value will become 5. So it is going to print the 4th star in the second row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. After 4th star, the J value will become 6. This condition will fail. Then again the control will move out of the loop. Then it is going to take the cursor to the next row. Again the I value will be incremented. It is going to be 3. Then the J value will be 3. When the J value will become 3, so this loop is going to be executed 3 times, just because 3, 4 and 5, which is nothing but it is going to print the stars in 3 times this third row. Again the I value will be incremented. I value will become 4. When the I value will become 4, the J value is also 4, because J value is initialized to I. Then the J value will become 4. If this condition is 4, it is going to print the stars in 2 times, which is nothing but in the 4th row we are going to print 2 stars. Again the I value will become 5. Then the J value will be initialized to 5. In this condition we are going to print the stars only in one time, which is nothing but I is equal to 5 and the j is equal to 1. Again, when you increment the I value will become 6. When the I value becomes 6, this condition is going to be wrong. If this condition is wrong, this inner for loop is not going to be executed. Instead, the control will move out of the loop, which is nothing but the program has come to an end. Let me quickly run this one so that we can see the result. So there is an error here. Instead of semicolon, I had put colon. So let me correct that one. So let me run now. As you can see them here, in the first row there is 5 stars, second row there is 4, third row there is 3 and 2, followed by 1 star. Now let us quickly write the program to print this pattern. As you can see them here, in the first row I am going to print 1 2 3 4 5. In the second row I am going to print 2 3 4 5. On the third row I am going to print 3 4 5. The fourth row 4 5 and the fifth row is 5. So this value that I want to print is based on the column. So what do I mean by this value is based on the column? Let's say I want to print the value of the column, which is nothing but column is represented by j, right? So let's see the example here. Initially the I value is 1 less than or equals to 5. Is it true or false? The condition is true. If this condition is true, what is going to happen? It is going to execute this next for loop. Here the j value is initialized to I. So what is I value now? 1. Then 1 less than or equals to 5. This is a condition, right? J less than or equals to 5. Initially this j value is initialized to I. I value was 1. So 1 less than or equals to 5. If this condition is true, what is going to happen? It is going to print the value of j. What is the j value? J value is 1. The 1 will be printed. So what is going to happen? Next the j value will be incremented. Initially it was 1. Now when you increment the 1, it is going to be 2. So when you increment the j value to 2, again I am going to check the condition j less than or equals to 5. 2 less than or equals to 5. Is it true or false? It's true. If it is true, what am I going to do? I am going to print the value of j. What is the j value now? It was 2. So I am going to print this 2. So this condition is going to be executed until I reach 5, right? When the j value will become 6, this condition is going to false, then this loop is going to be terminated. So I am going to print the number starting from 1 2 3 4 5. Then when the j value reaches 6, this loop is going to be false, then this control will move out of this loop. Then my control is going to take to my next line, which is nothing but the next row. Again I need to increment the I value. I value will become 2. Then 2 less than or equals to 5. Is it true or false? The condition is true. If the condition is true, what is going to happen? It is going to execute the inner for loop. Now j value is initialized to I. What is I value now? I value is 2, right? So 2, again I need to check the condition. 2 less than or equals to 5. Is it true or false? It's true. If it is true, I am going to print the j value. What is the j value now? It is 2. So I am going to print 2 in the second row. Then this condition is going to be executed until I reach 5. Then when I reach 6, this condition is going to be false. Then control will move out of this inner for loop. Then my control will go to the next line. Then I value will become 3. Then that 3 will be initialized to j. So initially j value is 3. 3 less than or equals to 5, which is nothing but the condition is true. If the condition is true, I am going to print the j value. What is the j value now? It is 3. That is the reason why I am going to print 3 4 5. Again the I value will be incremented. I value will become 4. When the I value will become 4, in that I value will be initialized to j. Even the j value will become 4. So if it is 4, this loop is going to be executed 2 times, which is nothing but I am going to print 4 and 5. Again the I value will be incremented to 5. Then the j value will be initialized to I, which is nothing but j value will also be 5. So 5 less than or equal to 5 is true. So I am going to print the j value, which is nothing but I am going to print 1 5. Again I need to increment the I value. I value will become 6. When the I value will become 6, this condition is going to be false. If this condition is false, this inner for loop is not going to be executed, meaning the control will go out of the loop, which is nothing but the program has come to an end. Let me run this one so that we can see how it works. As you can see the result, 1 2 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5, 3 4 5, 4 5 and 5. So this is how it works. So the next pattern that I want to print is, this is a pattern. So as you can see them here, in the first row I have printed 5 in 5 times. In the second row I have printed 4 in 4 times. Third row 3 in 3 times. In the fourth row 2 in 2 times. And the fifth row 1 in 1 time. So how can it be done? meaning initially my I value has to be 5 so that I can print 5 in 5 times, isn't it? So instead of I is equal to 1, initialize them to 5. Then what you need to do, you need to change the condition. Instead of less than or equals to 1, just change greater than or equals to 1. Then every time, because I'm going to print the 5 in the first row, how many times? 5 times. Then after printing the 5 in 5 times in the first row, what do you need to do? You have to print 4 in 4 times in the second row, meaning initially the I value was 5, then you need to decrement the 5 for you to get 4, meaning you need to decrement the I value. Again, where are you going to print? You are going to print this 5 in 5 times starting from the column 1 going up to column 5. So meaning this J value has to be initialized to 1 because you want them to be printed from the first column going up to where? The I value. Then you need to increase the J value. Again, what you want to print them here? You just want to print the I value, which is nothing but initially the I value is 5 greater than or equals to 1. Is it true or false? The condition is true. If the condition is true, what is going to happen? The control will move into the next loop, which is nothing but the inner loop. Now again we need to check the condition. What is the condition? J value is equals to 1. So the J value is 1 less than or equals to I. Less than or equals to I. What is the I value? I value is initialized to 5. So 5. Is it true or false? The condition is true. If this condition is true, what is going to happen? I'm going to print the I value. Where? In the first row, first column. What is I value now? I value is 5. I'm going to print the first 5. Again, what is going to happen? Then from here, I need to go and increment the value of J. What is the J value initially? It was 1. When you increment them, it will become 2. 2 less than or equals to 5. It is true or false? It's true. If it is true, again I'm going to print the I value. What is I value? I value is still 5, right? So I'm going to print the second 5. So this loop is going to be executed until 5 less than or equals to 5. Meaning that in the first line, I'm going to print 5 times 5. Then when the J value becomes 6, what is going to happen? This condition is going to be failed. As a result, the control will move out of this inner for loop. Then it will comes to the next line. Then from here, it will go and decrement the I value. Initially, the I value was 5. Now when you decrement them, it will become 4. Now the control will move inside this loop. The J value is 1. 1 less than or equals to 4. It is true or false? It's true. If it is true, I'm going to print what? The value of 5. What is I value? 4. So this 4 will be printed 4 times. That is the reason why in the second row I have printed 4 times. Then again the I value will be decremented. I value will become 3, meaning that 3 will be printed 3 times. Again the I value will become 2. That 2 will be printed 2 times. Again the I value will become 1. That 1 will be printed 1 time. Then the I value will become 0, which is nothing but this loop is going to be failed. If this loop is failed, this body of this inner loop is not going to be executed, which is nothing but our program has come to an end. Let me run this one so that you can see the result. So as we expected, as you can see the result, there is 5 5s in the first row, 4 4s in the second row, 3 3s in the third row, 2 2s in the second row, and only 1 in the last row. So this is how you can print these patterns using for loop. For more tutorial videos, kindly subscribe to Beginner's Guide.